global leaders. Welcome to the launch of the largest ever digital movement of economics and gender equality. I believe this is a historic moment. I believe this is the beginning of a huge movement. A lot of global leaders have come together today to make this dream a reality. As Henry Ford has said, coming together is the beginning, keeping together is progress, working together is success. We all have been working in different corners of the world for the same cause. Pandemic has brought all of us together, and we are together facing a set of challenges these days which we have never ever faced before. We have seen that we all have the ability to adapt to change. We all have changed our behaviors and habits for the benefit of all humanity. This microscopic virus has put us on our knees. This pandemic has shown us how fragile the world is, and that fragility should make us all humble. Let's understand that only in unity we will be able to address the challenges we are facing now. One of the major challenges or injustices the world is facing now is inequality for women. This is an injustice which must be and will be swept away. But we have to speed up the process. We all know that globally, almost 1 in 5 women has experienced violence in the past 12 months at the hands of a man they know. Women and girls do 3 times as much unpaid care and domestic work as men. The global gender pay gap is stuck at 16%, and every year, 12 million girls are married before 18 years. All this has to change. It's time to stop trying to change women and start changing the systems that prevent them from achieving their potential. We at GCPIT believe that this is a battle that the women of this century are not ready to lose. And our dream is that women must live in a world where they are free from all sorts of violence and also have the rights to make their decisions about their bodies and their lives. Global Council for the Promotion of International Trade is a company registered in India and South Africa to implement relevant national development strategies to promote foreign trade, bilateral investment. GCPIT establishes wide connections with relevant international organizations, trade and investment promotion agencies, commercial associations, and business circles to organize various forms of communication and cooperation for the promotion of world economic prosperity and improvement of the well-being of all mankind. GCPIT is committed to stepping up its engagement with the world on a wide range of issues, and we believe Womenomics is the most important among them. I'm speaking to you today with immense happiness and pride as a global chairperson for the Women Entrepreneurship and Empowerment of GCPIT. May I request everybody to mute, please? We at CMSME and GCPIT believe that we have done enough and more for women empowerment. And during our journey of the last 3 years, we have realized that women are already empowered, and it is high time we focus on providing more opportunities for their growth towards global leadership and entrepreneurship. That's how we thought of the concept of W Combinator, which will bring together global woman power, and we believe that this can create magical results. I feel extremely proud to say that we also have launched various initiatives to make this dream come true. The Brand India Women in Business Awards, the Brand Africa Women in Business Awards, the Global Women in Leadership Conversation Series, Global Women Leadership Awards are unique initiatives we have come up with to recognize global women leaders, to recognize and appreciate unsung heroes, and also to motivate and inspire them to mentor and develop more and more women leaders. All the learnings from these books, from these leaders, will be extracted and released as a book. I feel extremely happy and proud that all these initiatives have come from the brain of a man who is a loving son, a loving husband, and a proud father. I wish to thank Mr. Santosh Ganesh for all these initiatives and also all the support he's giving to all the women out here in CMSME, GCPIT, and also to all our global women leaders also across the globe. I'm sure you all will agree with me. We will not stop here. We have already announced the Weekends for Change mission, which will be the follow-up program for this launch. I don't want to talk more. Let our actions speak. I'm excited about today's event. I know you all are. Let me proudly invite our global vice chairperson of W Combinator, Ms. Rita Kakatisha, to deliver her opening address. Over to you, Rita.
Thank you so much, Aparna. Hi, everybody. I can feel the excitement. I can see the sea of change happening with our backgrounds and everyone here today. So I just wanted to start by saying, in the words of the former Secretary of State of the United States, women's rights are human's rights and human rights are women's rights. As famously said by her, that is really the mark of what we're here to celebrate today. If we think about it, if women in the world were to play an identical role in the labor market to that of men, then according to a study by McKinsey, as much as $28 trillion or 26% of the global economy could be added to the annual GDP by the year 2025. Those are fundamental statistics right there. However, as we all here know today, that theory is very, very different from practice. For example, there are only 5 women CEOs of FTSE 100 companies, as an example, and those women are paid 54% less than their male counterparts. Additionally, we know from research again, found by McKinsey and the Lean In organization in the States, that 25% of women left the workforce during this global pandemic. We know that perhaps motherhood and inadequate parental leave are often usually the first thoughts that come to mind when we think of why this is. And the research actually does show that women leave their job, 1/3 of women leave their jobs when they have children, and if they choose to return, only 50% of them are asked to come back for a job interview, and that is according to Harvard Business Review. Those are stark statistics right there. What about the cultural and the societal barriers that we're all facing as well, in terms of gender equality, in terms of sharing household responsibilities and the chores equally? For example, schoolwork, meal preparations, housekeeping, childcare, all of those things are not shared equally, even in this day and age right now. And then you think about from a society perspective, according to Ipsos Mori and the Global Institute of Women's Leadership at King's College London, 18% of men globally feel that staying at home to look after children makes you less of a man. Great Britain, for example, fares slightly better than those stats, coming in at 13%, agreeing with that statement. Well, Serbia comes in at 8%, so they're actually doing quite well. In India, for example, 39% of men don't feel and agree with that statement, and with the lowest being South Korea coming at 76%. So there is a lot of work to be done globally, and that is why we're here today. Today, ladies and gentlemen that are on today, we are here to talk about changing mindsets. It isn't just about corporate culture. It's years of cultural traditions. It's a patriarchy. It's a set of expectations. It's embedded into our societal norms that's all contributing towards the prevention of this true gender parity that we're all here to fight for today. And this isn't helped by the education system. Those of us who are parents, for example, during the pandemic, we're solely relying on school schedules to provide our own work days. If corporations were to pick up the tab and do their bit, what about in the workforce? What about the responsibilities of schools? What about families as well? So this whole infrastructure that we've just talked about needs to change. Much change is needed, not from just corporations, top down, bottom up, grassroots. Every single one of us here in this largest organization get together of women leaders around the world coming together to fight for this gender parity. We're all saying the same thing. So let's put our heads together. Let's get this positive energy started, and let's work out ways to put our experience and our knowledge together in our own communities, our own places at work, at home, to make this gender parity a reality. So thank you so very much. Welcome again. And on that note, I'm going to hand over back to you, Aparna.
Thank you so much, Rita. Let me invite a special person we have with us, Ms. Pumela, UK country head, brand South Africa, London, England. Let me invite her for her.
Your Excellencies, ambassadors and high commissioners, the founders of the Global Council for the Promotion of International Trade, the Confederation of Indian Micro and Medium Enterprise and its partners, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, Program Director, congratulations. Congratulations on the launch of the Womenomics in Action, a global mission for 2021 and beyond. Thank you for recognizing that there is the need for there to be a shift away in the way in which individuals and companies approach work due to the increase in the value of women in the workplace. This is also a time to change the attitudes of all women, as well as towards priorities in terms of balancing work and personal life. Women need to leverage their value in order to redefine success. It is a significant time, and it's opportune that we are meeting today on the last day of International Women's Month. We are meeting, ladies and gentlemen, at a time when exciting developments globally are taking place for women. Kamala Harris has made history by being elected the first female vice president of the United States of America. Dr. Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala has been appointed the first woman and the first African in the history of the World Trade Organization to take the top position. We wish her well and all the best in her endeavors. Kamala Harris has thanked the generations of women who have worked to secure and protect the right to vote in America for over a century. 100 years ago with the 19th Amendment, 55 years ago with the Voting Rights Act, and the women who continue the fight for the fundamental right to vote and be heard. She has taken time to reflect on their struggle, their determination, and their strength. And she says that, and I like what she says, because she indicates that to their strength to see what can be unburdened by what has been. What this says for us gathered here today is that we all stand in the shoulders of giants, because some women somewhere in the world have achieved what we are seeking to achieve. It gives us hope, therefore, that, and it gives us courage, it gives us determination to go forward and do and dare. And this involves women across all races and across all social classes. When women act as a collective, they can be a force to be reckoned with. One of the women leaders that I admire, former president of Liberia, President Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, once said, "A woman is able to negotiate, to find alternatives, and a woman is an example of strength." So within the context of our topic today, which is Womenomics in Action, Gender Equality, a Fundamental Right, what we find is that women lead everywhere. Women lead boldly. Women lead despite the odds. It is thus time for the women to take their rightful seat at the table. And I always say that if you are not sitting at the dinner table, you are part of the menu. Every knife and every fork is either cutting through you or cutting you out. The head of the United Nations Women, Dr. Phumzile Mlambo-Ngcuka, says that women are now calling for a leapfrog for 50% representation in all spheres, in corporate boards, throughout the economy. And I say that as we sit in corporate boards and as we sit in boards and as we take up high-level positions, we need to feel the fear, but do it anyway. Maggie Kern once said, "Stand before the people you fear and speak your mind, even if your voice shakes. When you least expect it, someone may actually listen. Well-aimed slingshots can topple giants." And she says it's important that you do your homework. So today provides an opportunity for us to be able to pay tribute to the generations of women whose struggles laid the foundation for the progress that has been made in empowering women in terms of achieving gender equality to date. The struggles that were waged by our forefathers have resulted in important strides we have today. Allow me to mention some of the women: Makeda, Queen of Sheba; Angolan Queen Zinga; American Harriet Tubman; American Toni Morrison; Zimbabwean Mbuya Nehanda; South Africa's Mama Winnie Mandela; first woman president in Africa, President Ellen Johnson Sirleaf; first woman head of the African Union, Dr. Nkosazana Dlamini Zuma; the current United Nations head for women, Dr. Phumzile Mlambo-Ngcuka, who is a South African, and many more formidable women from all over the world whom I have not mentioned here. As we are meeting on the final day of International Women's Month, we take this opportunity to remember all those who have struggled against all odds to bring us to this point. The women who fought to secure a seat at the table during our constitutional negotiations, despite their initial marginalization, and ensured that women's rights are now added and afforded a significant constitutional protection. We salute the women who continue to campaign tirelessly for women's reproductive rights and against gender-based violence. The women in grassroots social movements around the world who continue to claim their constitutional rights and insist that they are written in the story of our constitutional rights jurisprudence. The women around homes around the world who are giving their love, who are giving their labor on a daily basis to ensure that care work that is so crucial to our families is undertaken. The women in townships, in ghettos, in council houses, in urban centers, in rural centers, who around the world work as domestic workers, who work as community health workers, caregivers, informal traders, farm workers, and many other precarious jobs, who sacrifice spending time with their families to provide them with the basic necessities of life. We draw strength from them. We should be strengthened by their struggles and fortified by their memory and their existence for the many struggles that we have ahead. A profound shock that was observed during the pandemic is that in societies and economies, that the COVID-19 pandemic underscores society's reliance on women on both the front line and at home, while simultaneously exposing the structural inequalities across every sphere, from health to economy to security to social protection. In times of crisis, when resources are strained and institutional capacity is limited, women and girls face disproportionate impacts with far-reaching consequences, and that are only amplified through the context of fragility, conflict, and emergencies. Hard-fought gains for women's rights are also under threat. So responding to the pandemic is not just about rectifying long-standing inequalities, but it is also about building a resilient world in the interest of everyone, with women at the center of the recovery. As Toni Morrison once said, if there is a story that you want to read, but it hasn't been written yet, then you must write it. So the story of the realization of women's rights has yet to be fully written. Let us continue alongside many women activists currently doing so to write it. And in doing so, we should not leave men behind. So we thank Santosh for the support that you are giving to this movement. We must continue to strengthen the men's movement so that men can play a meaningful role in contributing to behavior change and the breaking of stereotypes towards the goal of gender equality. The He for She at Home campaign aims to highlight this unfair burden on women and encourage men to do their equal share. In providing useful tips, the He for She campaign seeks to inspire men to help balance the burden in their households. And this, to me, is an example of progressive men who have an interest in the emancipation of women. I must caution, though, that having said that, allow me to address the issue of the PhD syndrome. The PhD syndrome is the pull hair down syndrome, which has actually led to many women stifling each other's progress through sabotage and other means. We need to be aware that as women, we are sometimes our own worst enemies by not wishing each other well. I am not sure what one gains by seeing another sister suffer. We want to hear the voices of women in rural areas, in informal settlements, young women and girls, elderly women, women with disabilities, women workers, LGBTQIA community, women in faith-based communities, women traditional leaders, women professionals across all sectors. And in conclusion, Nelson Mandela once said, "No single person, no body of opinion, no religious doctrine can claim monopoly on the truth." Thus, we should all be a collective force of change makers of all ages, of all races, of all genders, to tackle the unfinished business of empowering women. We want to see every day organizations, formations, collectives, businesses, major companies, international development partners responding to gender inequality, responding to racism, responding to COVID-19, and responding to all forms of social justice through programs, through projects, through interventions, through campaigns, and mobilization. I thank you.
Well done.
Thank you so much, Mamela. That was really inspiring. I think you can hear me. So let's take the oath. I would request Pumela. It was last time also she had given us the oath, right? So I request Ms. Pumela to give us the oath on this day. Let me share the oath. Are you there, Pumela? Yeah, you can.
Yes, I'm here. I am taking the pledge.
You can read it out and let's all say together, right? Let's all switch on our microphones and we can repeat it, right?
I am taking the pledge.
I am taking the pledge
to promote Womenomics and gender equality, women's fundamental rights,
women's fundamental rights,
Womenomics, gender equality, diversity, inclusion, decrease, my actions, words, and deeds,
in all my actions,
words, and deeds.
And all my actions, words, and deeds.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I believe this is just a beginning. Yes, Pumela, would you like to say something?
No. I was doing the pledge with my hand up.
Great, amazing. Let's all follow this. Let's all promote Womenomics and gender equality in all our actions, deeds, and words, right? So now let's go to the next section. Let me invite a very special person with us, who is with us. Ms. Kira, are you there? Santosh, can you see Kira? I think she's yet to join. So let's go to our next session. We have Dr. Amina Ali with us. Dr. Satnam Dyochakar, are you there?
Hi.
Yes, we have with us the CEO Council of INT Chambers of Commerce, Africa Development Council, International Officer, Green Party, Head of Foreign Affairs, Arab Union Sustainability Development and Peace. Let me welcome Dr. Satnam Dyochakar, right? I hope I pronounced your name right. Welcome with pride and honor. Welcome.
Thank you very much. Thank you. I was waiting for Dr. Amina Ali. She's a mentor. I did FIGHR with her. So I was hoping she was there. So
I think she will join. She has.
Yeah, not an issue. My apologies. I'm traveling and I think I had another slot in 20 minutes and that is why I can't turn my video on. But no worries. Now that we are here and I see everyone here and it's a matter of joy and pride to see women shining above their own mark. I mean, coming up day in, day out and making it possible for the other women to dream so high. So I'm looking forward to working with all of you. I'm really, really, really excited. And like I said, within my own powers, within Chambers of Commerce, within Arab Sustainability Development, within the Africa Asia Development Council, or whether it's Asia, Africa, Commerce and Industry, if there is anything, my women, my associates, my leaders, my all my friends here, anyone you think there's anything I can assist with on practical note, I will leave my details. If there is anything to push the women entrepreneurs around the world, if there's anything to bring in the startups or any funding, anything there is, I think I'm available here 24/7 to help and support as much as I can. So while we're here and we're celebrating such a special occasion, just a moment ago, we were taking a pledge. And, just one thing, there's a lot of part of the world where we see women have achieved, they are doing really remarkably well, but especially because we're working with a lot of remote parts where women are still a lot lacking behind on basics, right? So I would actually urge this today, that while we have this platform and we have these inspiring leaders, I would urge them to find ways how we can connect more and have more of these either sessions or joining or whatever we can, to find out ways where we can really help these women to stand out, to come out and start these. I mean, I have some other organization, they start with the Women in Truth, and I think Arab Sustainability, another project with women empowerment, where they're trying to put up some courses, some learning upskilling projects where we can train the women and give them the employment that they are entitled to get those skills to them. So if any one of us here is into all that kind of, I would request they leave their details so we can start joining those groups and see how we all can aid and sustain all these projects. If there is anyone there, like I said, each one of you must be doing something so remarkable. I always believe one thing, if alone we are a drop, together we are an ocean. So with that notion, I want to invite everyone here, and with that spirit of joining and saying how we can work on this one, let's see how we can actually put some practical steps in, and we can support these women around the globe. And also whoever ever, like I said here, can assist with all these things, please come forward and leave your details.
Thank you so much, Dr. Satnam, for joining in. I think you have a session, right?
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for those encouraging words. We'll surely be in touch with you.
I'll leave my details, and I'll leave my details here. And I would really love to connect with all individually as well as collectively your organizations. And I think there is a lot we can do together, because for me, I see it all the time. Everyone's putting in so much effort. But I always have also worked out that collaborations make more sense. Doing things together bring out the result quicker and easier.
Exactly. Thank you so much for joining in today, Dr. Satnam. Now let's go to the next. Miss Andrea, are you there? Miss Andrea Sessum?
Miss Kira is available now.
Ms. Kira has joined in. Okay. We have a very special guest with us today. It's our guest of honor, Ms. Kira Appel, Deputy Head of Department of Gender Equality and Chief Consultant to the Minister for Gender Equality, Denmark. Ms. Kira?
Hello.
Yes, welcome. We're so proud and honored to have you here. So let's hear from you. Over to you.
Well, thank you very much. And thank you to the organizers for inviting me. It is indeed a great honor for me to participate, not least. Anyway, thank you to the organizers. It's a pleasure to be here and to be with so many distinguished female leaders and role models around the world. It is such a great honor to speak amongst you. It is actually a holiday in Denmark. It's a public holiday and it's Easter, and it's a traditional time for family reunion and for people to get together and meet up from around Denmark. And I'm so happy that we're doing this online, because that is actually the digital wonders allows me to combine family and work life. And that is what I would like to talk a little bit about today, because this virtual participation allows me to both be a mother, to be a daughter, to be a wife, to be a niece, to be a cousin, and still be able to join you here today and to do everything. And that's what we want. That's what women want. We want to do everything. We don't want to give everything up just to become one thing. So that's a fantastic thing. And it's not only me. If you look at Denmark more in general, you see that there is actually really good possibilities of combining family and work life. And Denmark is actually just ranked second in the world as the most happy country. And why? I truly believe that one of the reasons is the level of gender equality and the fact that you can combine family and work life. That is a big part of the reason. Because in Denmark, you don't have to choose between being a mother or being part of the Womenomics. You don't have to choose. You can be both. And for that sake, also men. But today we are here at the Womenomics in action, and it's a very, very important subject because Womenomics is all about acknowledging women's contribution to the economy. And it's actually estimated in the EU that we would, if women and men worked on equal footing on the labor market, we could actually see a rise on up to 25% in GNP. That's how much women can contribute extra with if they just got the chance to work on equal footing. And that's what we did in Denmark, actually. We saw that women came out to the labor market almost on equal footing with men in the 60s. And Nordic studies suggest that we had a rise of even for up to 40% of the GNP, allowing women to come out into the labor market. So let's establish that. Women working women, that's good for the economy. But, and now I come into the but, because women can't work. What is it that they need in order to get out and contribute to the economy? Well, how can we be Womenomics? Because we can't benefit from working women if we don't ensure the proper services. Institutional mechanisms, that's what we need. And what are they? I have 4 concrete examples of what the state needs to provide in order for women to get out and work. First of all, daycare institutions, crucial. In Denmark, we have daycare institutions, and they are provided as part of the public welfare system. That means that they are totally affordable, and if you're a single mom, you can even not pay. But sometimes I have been asked when I've talked about the wonders of the daycare institutions, is it really okay to hand in your child? Is it a nice thing to deliver your child in the morning? And as a mother, I have to say, yes, that's important for me as well. We have to feel good when we hand in our children in the custody of others. And yes, in Denmark, we do actually provide professional daycare institutions, and that's important. It's trained and educated staff. There are rules and regulations on how they have to activate the children, they have to support the children's development, and how they have to make it function. So it's the quality of life actually that increases. And we also have Nordic studies proving that the effect of they have compared children at home with mothers, and especially or in institutions. And the kids do not take any harm. They don't. They actually have a very high level of social skills because they learn to interact with other children. And they have a very high level of language. So no, it's okay. It's okay to hand in your child. Second of all, elder care. We have also welfare services as part of the welfare services. We have elder care institutions. They can either get have retirement homes, or they can get help in the home from the public. It is not a burden for mainly women as it has been for centuries. That part of taking care of all the logistics and all the help and all the cleaning and everything, that's been put into the welfare system. So that allows women to go and visit their parents, and men, of course, also, but not to have the burden of actually taking care of their elderly. So that means so much. That gives women the possibility of getting into the Womenomics and become leaders as well. Thirdly, parental leave. If you want to combine family and work life, you have to also realize that as a woman, when you've given birth, you want to stay at home and you have to breastfeed and you have to take care of your child. But also that men, the fathers, need to take care of the child. So we have a year's parental leave in Denmark. And for most of them, you get benefits. So it's almost the same as wages. So it's possible to stay at home with your child. Then you put them into nurseries from their 1 year old. And in Denmark, most kids go into nurseries, and the kindergartens, it's not up to 97% of children who are in kindergartens. And that means a lot. But the first year, yes, you have to have the connection with your children, but you also have to get the money and the wages. Fourth and last, you also have to realize that the welfare state has to provide for young women, aspiring leaders, their education. And in Denmark, you have, of course, free schools and free universities, but you also have wages when you go to university. So if you study, you also get a wage. That way, universities is for all, and it's not something that families have to decide who should go to university. So, and we have free doctors and free hospitals. So what else is necessary? Now we have covered the state. What does a state need to supply? What else do we need necessary for women to be part of this business and Womenomics? Companies, they also have a responsibility. And I'd just like to mention a few of these. They have to ensure a transparent recruitment process within companies. They have to ensure the supply line of leaders within their companies and nudge women, because quite often they don't think that they can do it having also the family at home, but they can. Also, you have to ensure anti-sexual harassment policies. So many women suffer from sexual harassment and they don't feel safe at work, or they feel harassed or even just bullied. They don't want to be part of this male leadership or management team where you have to behave in a certain way. So sexism and sexual harassment has to be dealt with, talked about openly, and changed. Without that, we won't see many women entering the top level of companies. Flexible working arrangements, very important as well, for both women and for men, in order to be both mothers and fathers. And you also have to, of course, last but definitely not least, have equal pay. You have to see the fact that you have to acknowledge women on the same level as men. And we are seeing far too many companies and women who still, even though they work in similar jobs, still not getting the same wages. And that's just, it's not encouraging if you don't feel acknowledged. So that's very, very important. It's simply fair. All these initiatives that I have mentioned, they cost. We pay 50% tax in Denmark. Yes. Do I pay my tax with pleasure? Yes, I do. Because it definitely makes a change. All these initiatives are, however, a win-win. Why? Because they're good for women. It's good to use their potential. It's good for men, because men can also become caregivers, and they can drop being the breadwinners and let women be the breadwinners. That challenge all the stereotypes, all the bias that we have in our everyday life. So yes, it's also good for women and for men, but it's also good for the companies. It can pay off to have diversity and to attract the best minds. So no modern society without gender equality. It's just not an option. And that takes me back to the beginning, because gender equality is not only a matter of justice and democracy, it's also a matter of happiness. And as I said, yes, we're happy that we're so happy in Denmark. And gender equality is hence about everyone being happy. Thank you for listening and have a great conference.
Thank you so much, Kira. That was amazing. Yes, let's all be happy together. Just not a matter of women, right? So let's all work together towards this goal. And thank you so much for joining in. I know it's Easter there, it's family time. Enjoy your family time. Happy Easter. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay, so let's go to the next special guest who we have here. Let me look. We have Miss Lady Anita Duckworth Bradshaw. She's a magazine publisher at Powerhouse Global President. Powerhouse Global. What's happening to me? I don't know. Today, I'm so excited, maybe because of that. She's a magazine publisher at Powerhouse Global, President Powerhouse Global Women Foundation. Let me proudly welcome Lady Anita Duckworth Bradshaw. Over to you, ma'am. Are you there? I had seen her in the list. Lady Anita, are you there? Yes, then I think let's go to the next person. We have with us Yanbo Du. He's an entrepreneur, social business architect, connector, convener, facilitator, innovation, global development, sustainability, New York. Are you there?
Yes. Yeah.
Yes. Welcome to the. Great. I think you are the first man to speak here, right?
But you can hear me all right?
Amazing. Yeah, we can hear you. Amazing. Thank you so much for joining us.
Definitely, and thanks to you for the invitation, and also to Yale Rosenberg as well, who made that connection earlier. So just to keep it brief, actually just shared a dispatch from the earlier month to set the tone on some of those matters around gender equality and what is imperative now, and something that we can even amplify. And there was a message that was shared during the NGO CSO forum around the United Nations Economic Commission for Europe, their Regional Sustainable Development Forum, is instead of this connotation of building back better, since as I pointed out that why would we want to be building back any pre-existing inequalities? They noted, well, we're building forward better. So on that note, it's pretty imperative to bring in these 4 critical lenses of how we build forward better, and also how they intersect, how each of them reinforces the other. So of course, probably at top of mind right now for everyone is climate. It's pretty much the only one of the major global challenges in which you can't buy any more time, that you actually have to act, because no one is going to wait for you to get consensus to build coalitions or such. You actually have to basically go no holds barred. It's almost like a war effort there, given that we only have a decade before things become irreversible. And then coupled with that, of course, very closely is, if you act on that, much of it would then spill over to nature and biodiversity, so regenerating life support systems on Earth. And again, it's something that's been noted for over a decade, but it's not really about saving the planet here, but saving humanity, preserving nature, preserving biodiversity, how it's actually saving humanity. And then further too, we got, of course, a gender lens, and like gender, it's not exclusively being shoehorned into issues related to women and such, but human rights above all. It's fundamentally about overturning structures and the mindset that define individuals as part of being essential to who they are, as in saying that people are innately superior than others, but it's fundamentally about overturning that kind of mindset. It's not just about women's rights, it's about human rights in general, just presenting like all humans, no matter who you are, what your ethnicity, what your creed, what your gender, no matter who you are, you're equal above all.
That's how you remember.
Yeah.
That's how you remember. You won't get into that. Very good.
Yep. And then lastly of all that is on the migration. About first, of course, is the right to seek opportunity, but also the right not to be displaced. And I highly recommend that you refer to the International Covenant on Economic, Social, and Cultural Rights, signed back in 1966, and ratified by the vast majority of UN member states. So looked at that, there's a right to housing, people are saying right to the city and all those matters. But just ensure that you are privileging people's livelihoods above all other short-term imperatives. So we get those four, and just setting those out as guiding principles of how we build forward better. And then very quickly, for any of you, it doesn't matter whether you're an individual or whether you're an organization, to start integrating just sustainability, but rather diversity, equity, inclusion, all those, the justice, all those matters into everything your day to day, whether as an individual, organization, or institution, in the sense of think about a theory of change, think in terms of your inputs, your outputs, outcomes, and your impact overall. So by having a diverse team around you, gender, life experiences, everything, that's your input. That's going to then shape what you are going to produce as an organization. That's your output. So again, you're having equitable output. How is it affecting those around you? And then through that, you end up creating inclusion. You can call it your impact. You can say that's your overall, your inclusive culture and everything else that comes with it. Are people feeling welcome there? Do they feel that their contributions are valued? They're given their due merits and such. And then once you have that, you would then be cultivating our impact, which roughly can characterize as the justice dimension of that. And then once you have that, of course, you establish that reinforcing loop that could then be integrated into any organization or institution you're with. So it's first about framing how we build forward better, and then shifting over to, instead of thinking of sustainability, ESG, that's environment, society, governance, or diversity, equity, including justice, instead of putting that off in some silo, as many are very prone to do. How might we integrate that from the ground level up, whether you're starting a new organization or transforming a legacy one? How do we integrate that into the core, or rather the kernel, as we like to say? So if any time remaining, any questions, happy to field them.
Yes, we'll take the questions later. Yeah, it was really, really powerful what you said. So we have a lot of guests waiting. So let's go to the next speaker. We will take the questions later. Okay, thank you so much for joining in. And next, we have a lot of special guests with us to talk to us about gender equality and womenomics. And next, I have a very special and happy news to share with you all. The Royal Society of Edinburgh, Scotland's National Academy, this morning has announced their newly elected fellows Fellow of the Royal Society of Edinburgh FRSC for 2021. And we have someone here who is in this list, and she says, I'm honored to be here in some excellent company. Let me proudly invite Dr. Poonam Malik, who is a board advisor, consultant, board member, social entrepreneur from Scotland. Over to you, Dr. Poonam. Congratulations.
Thank you, Aparna. Pleasure to be in here and pleasure to be in the company. So delighted. And we are here gathered for a very important topic. We feel passionate about it, hence we are here. And thank you to Santosh. I still feel though that I think the pledge also need to be taken care by our male colleagues. I know Yang was here on behalf and he's looked like one of the very few representatives besides I think Santosh. So equality won't come if we talk among ourselves. We need to convince the rest of our colleagues to consider us equal. And that's the main topic that I would like to focus on today, because as you say, gender equality is a moral and business imperative, but diversity training and programs, despite us talking on social media and elsewhere, have predominantly failed to have an impact that we would have desired. And we all have unconscious bias, and we form impressions within 5 seconds of seeing somebody based on their gender, race, color, origin, social, and living status. The key to tackle with it is to be aware of our own unconscious biases and then put them aside and work on our own weaknesses. I think that is where the key is. So it's going by the saying that diversity is being invited to the party and inclusion is being asked to dance. So unless we walk the talk and practice what we preach and make everybody feel equal, there will be, as World Economic Forum predicted, it'll be over 300 years that we could reach there. So I think none of us have that time. Generations on generations of our daughters and future daughter-in-laws will suffer that. So possibly, which is why we need to make sure that we are more inclusive rather than simply talking about the diversity. So a couple of things like, I'm sure a lot of speakers before me have addressed it, and I would like to add to that more flexibility is required from businesses for combining family obligations and work-life balances, unless there is more flexibility. And what lockdown has shown us that productivity has increased. Women have taken on the charge of homeschooling, family caring, as well as delivering from home and anywhere. So that should give confidence to all the business owners and the managers, which is predominantly in the mindset that you cannot work elsewhere, or if you need to go and pick children, or if you need to have caring responsibility, you might not be up for that leadership tasks, because predominantly at home, the multitasking and leadership is all associated with the center of the power, which is generally the central female figures in the house. And that time we don't consider that, but when it comes to business, our outlook suddenly changes, and we expect it to be a very male, pale, and stale phenomena of power dynamics here. So I'm not focusing on the negatives. I'm going to talk only positives. What I want to say is that looking ahead to build a fairer, inclusive, and thriving well-being economy, if we want to do, we need to mitigate negative trend of women job losses that have happened in the pandemic. And what we need to do is that we need to enhance our offering for women working with the Womenomics policy, which we are talking about. And to do that, with well-being at its heart, well-being for the society, it's more equity is required to elevate opportunities for underrepresented groups, including women. And that will be our Sustainable Development Goal 5, to achieve gender equality and achieving empowering all women and girls. So what we need is 100% commitment from all parties included, 100% commitment needed to design a positive and responsible policy. So there is a government share to do here to achieve better gender equality and empowering all females and enable them to work in those conditions where they can have family at the same time, but feel empowered enough to go back to the office and not their cushy stretch project taken away from there because somebody has decided somewhere you are not up to the job just because you've had 6 months of maternity leave. It might have come from a good field. And this is only attainable by actively putting an inclusion, diversity, and equality lens at the center of every decision, every equity decision that is taken. Then only we will have a fair, just, and inclusive procedures. So to achieve better gender equality going forward, it would be important for businesses, policymakers, governments to tailor opportunities within organizations and to different groups, including women for that. Simply having flexible working policy or better maternity conditions will not work because men and partners, those who are at home, need to look at their share. As COVID pandemic has shown, women have ended up doing twice the share. How many men have cooperated? And that is where every partner at home, be their fathers or brothers or husbands, need to look out that if there is an equal share in the office, then there has to be an equal share of working at home. And that hybrid model going forward is the only one that is going to provide flexibility to females. Employers, leaders, politicians need to be doing much more around advocating the clear pathways for education, for employment of girls, because that bridge is really important. Girls have to see from the very early stage that if they study well, they can also achieve and reach that top leadership if they do wish to. They can also run companies if they do wish to. That's where the role modeling and the mentorship aspect comes in. And changes in policy with inclusive measures like different paths for promotions that don't penalize people for taking time off for maternity, for having children, or for their own mental well-being, which a lot of people hide and not talk about. So networking events with caring and family-friendly environments, role modeling, as I said, mentoring from existing female leaders, and commitment and sponsorship from male leaders. And that is where I started with.
Everything you scattered everything of mine and gone away to do your work, yeah.
Dr. Sagarika, can you please mute?
So, just to wrap it up, most importantly, there is a massive need to make the business case that greater gender diversity has huge strategic, economic, and bottom line benefit with more effective and economic outcomes. Recovery would be fast, just, inclusive, sustainable, and double if opportunities are fair and equal, and if all females are equally allowed to work and take part and grow. So attitude change is a marathon, not a sprint. Let's make sure that we are all ready for that marathon race and not thinking it's just a today's problem in the sprint mindset. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Poonam. That was amazing. I love listening to you. You have a lot to say and I really enjoy listening to you. That was amazing. Let me next invite Ms. Claudia Segre. She is the president of Thinking Foundation, Italy. Over to you, Ms. Claudia.
Hi, Aparna. So thank you so much for this opportunity to be here. And I'm really delighted to participate to this call for action. And just going straight to the point like we are used to do, let me say that I think Womenomics is a field that matters to human welfare. But unfortunately, as was mentioned, we still have a ways to go as there are still too few women around the tables. And the COVID-19 pandemic has hit women especially hard. And since the first state of emergency, women in irregular jobs were the first to be dismissed. So as the economy contracts due to the prolonged coronavirus crisis, women's precarious place in the workforce has come to the fore. Rather than nurturing women talents or career development, I think that Womenomics was quite affected by the pandemic and has left women exposed to the economic shocks as part-timers, contract and dispatch workers. So as you know, we are working, spreading out financial education and financial literacy, particularly for people and women need to empower themselves. And the results of our efforts, with more than 3,000 women participating in short courses classes, show that financial education could generate a range of changes, not only in knowledge, but also in financial skills and behavior, as well as the financial well-being of the participants. So the findings help us understand the role of what people know and do for their financial well-being. And the financial education can help individuals improve their financial situations and ultimately their financial well-being by enhancing their economic attitudes and behavior. Many factors need to be addressed and simultaneously to improve women's working and then financial condition. There is an urgent need for work style reforms, such as phasing out inflexible labor contracts, promoting gender entrepreneurship, performance-based evaluation, company transparency, particularly in gender pay gaps, and improved childcare will help. So women's contribution in the workplace remains undervalued, and we have the power to change this. Martin Luther King said, whatever affects one directly affects all indirectly. So for this reason, I think that we need to be committed to the economic empowerment of women. That means to empower the world. And we are here to strengthen it, because we cannot leave 50% of the population behind. And the future is now for the women empowerment and for Womenomics. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ms. Sigrid. Thank you. Next, let me invite CEO of the Science, Entrepreneurship and Investments Institute, Dr. Ingrid Vasiliou-Feltes. Dr. Ingrid, over to you.
Thank you. And it's an honor to be invited. I'm really grateful for the opportunity to share some thoughts. My approach has been to focus on a few pillars: education, and when I mean education at all levels, from very early on, even preschool, it's really important that we change the paradigm so that we can leave a legacy of equality for many years to come. The other pillar, as you know, I'm pushing very hard that women get more involved in innovation, and specifically digital innovation, emerging technologies. We've talked a lot in other events about the importance of embracing and engaging emerging technologies, because I think that's one of the future trends we see that drives digital economy and would help us in our Womenomics efforts. And the last pillar, but not least, of course, I also promote entrepreneurship for women in particular. And I think there, again, we need to start rethinking the way we approach it. It has to be an embedded effort at all levels, not only government, but public-private partnerships, incubators, accelerators, academia. The whole ecosystem, I think, deserves probably a recalibrating and a reshifting so that we can embed the equality movement. I do not believe in just support without translating it into actions that can be sustained. And I think we do see definitely more support. I also noticed that there's a little bit more effort into having strategic roadmaps and playbooks and field guides of how to do it. But now I think we have to make sure that we can sustain and that we start to measure outcomes of all our efforts. So I think overall, just as a summary, I would encourage all of us to think creatively and have an abundance mindset, as opposed to just try to at least be equal. I think we should all think broader than that. How can we all collaborate for the future and leave a good legacy for everybody? Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Dr. Ingrid. And next we have one leader who she has taught me something very special. She has told me that there is a very special place in hell for women who don't support women. Let me invite Ms. Andrea Hoffmeyer, co-founder Sherpa Institute. Over to you, Andrea.
Aparna, thank you for that introduction. Yes, I do believe that that's true. And I've enjoyed hearing some of the wisdom preceding me by other women here. What I'd also like to share with you is going back to my previous presentation with Womenomics. I shared that Coco Chanel has been a great inspiration to me. And so let me explain to you. When I was a little girl, I did not fit in. I did not fit in out in the country. We had cattle ranches, and I did not fit in the city where I went to school. And I was very upset about that. And I lamented this to my father, and he said, "That's great." And I was horrified with his response. And he explained, well, there's somebody who you should study. Her name's Coco Chanel. And of course I knew who Chanel was, Coco Chanel. He said, she said, in order to be irreplaceable, one must always be different. So I thought about that, and that stuck with me my whole life. And when I was younger, of course, I thought that I should have a punk rock hairdo and things like that. That was being different, okay? But as I've moved through my career, it's been hard to reconcile that, because for me, I believe very much in collaboration and bringing people together, working towards a common goal. So how will you be different? I have to tell you that we have such a unique opportunity right now at this time, because if you look at the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, there's 17 of them, and there's 169 underlying targets. Here's the opportunity that we all have. Study them. Study the UN SDGs and go below the surface. Go below what you see at the top of the iceberg, okay? And go below the surface to those 169 targets. Study them and find something that really resonates with you, okay? You can build a whole career around one of the targets. There's sustainable tourism that's tucked up underneath SDG 8 and SDG 12. You can build a whole career around that. Go through them, really study them, find something that captures your attention, that resonates with your soul, and then make yourself truly an expert in this, and not just an expert according to what has been published by the UN, but understand, what are companies doing? What are the opportunities for companies to move the dial? Because it's the 2030 agenda. And we're running out of time. It's a melting ice cube. It's a melting iceberg. And if we have, millions of women, young girls, men, and young boys all around the world who find what is their passion related to the 2030 agenda, we will get there. The other thing that I would encourage you is, if you ever have the opportunity to mentor a young woman or a girl, and she's trying to find what will interest her in her career or in her post-secondary education decisions, do the same thing that I'm suggesting to you today. Encourage her to study the goals, study all 17 of them, and really, really dig down into the targets and find what ignites her passion. And then say, hey, that's where you can focus your attention in your degree path in school, in your choice of school, in your career path. Maybe you're going to change careers. Okay, but find your passion. It's already out. It's in there somewhere. It's in those 169. Find it, connect with other people who are passionate about it. Don't let go. Don't let go, and you will find people to connect with. I see Beth and some other folks here who are involved in our project, and connect with other people. I just want to say in my last few seconds, I so much enjoyed the wisdom that we had from Punam about diversity is being invited to the party, and inclusion is being invited to dance. Well, hey, I'm inviting you to dance, people.
Thank you, Andrea. That was really powerful. I always really look forward to listening to you. And we have one more very special person with us, Ms. Yael Rosenfeld. She is the chair of board Blockchain Israel, founder of Neverlab. Over to you, Yael. Yes, thank you so much for joining in. Over to you, Yael. Yael, are you there? Can you hear me? Yale, I think we have, Yale, you are on mute. You are there.
She got dropped.
She got dropped. Okay. So let's go to another bubbly Miss Christina Scott. She is the managing director of DigiLoop. Over to you, Christina. Let's hear from you, your thoughts about gender equality. Christina, are you there? Yes, you are on mute. You are on mute.
Hi, everyone. It is an honour and a privilege to be part of Womenomics in action with you all today. At DigiLoop, we have a full focus on SDGs, ensuring SDG 5, 12 and 13 are at the core of all we do. SDG 5 is such a crucial goal, not just for our current time, but for our future generations to come. We surely must have learned from the past, but should all be on a quest for continuous improvement for gender equality. Whether it is realised or not, inequality is sadly all around us, and it's up to us all to change that. In our early years, through to the workplace, events, anyone remember those? And all around in our supply chains. So awareness is absolutely key. It is through transparency, trust, openness and willingness that we all have something to contribute to shift the balance for that goal of gender equality. Today is a real call to action. Please join us in using the hashtags Womenomics and Gender Equality Fundamental Right on all our social media platforms. Let's get everyone speaking and connecting. Connect with each other, connect with our networks, and let's all do this together. It doesn't need to be overwhelming. To start small and build from there. Echoing what Andrea said, absolutely. Not just the targets, look at the indicators as well. Do what you can with what you have, reach out to others, and we're all there to support each other. We have a responsibility to each other to open doors where possible, and in turn pay that forward, but also back. It's with determination, reciprocity and cooperation that gender equality can and will be achieved. Even when we think it can't, we must remain resolute in pursuit of that goal. This is a marathon, not a sprint, or we would have achieved it already. So do what you can now, and when you can, pass that baton on to an ally to continue the action, and we're always here and ready and willing when you are ready to take up that baton again. When we look at SDG 5, achieve gender equality and empower all women and girls, we already have the action points and indicators to hand, but let me assure you, they are by no means exhaustive. They are just a great place for everyone to start as a collective force for good. At DigiLoop, we use business as a tool to affect social and environmental change. And under our banner at Beyonder, our modelling was proven in both education and manufacturing. But it is through DigiLoop that we will go even deeper to ensure that equality and parity through our supply chain. And we will work with you all to achieve that level as we move forward from today. There are so many ways that this can be achieved, but we need to be open to new and different ways of doing business, so that larger, more established corporations can work with smaller businesses in partnership who have that agility, that capability for embedding social and environmental change, and empower all women and girls as we share best practice and encourage each other. We must develop an and approach, not either or, if we are going to be genuinely inclusive and empower each other. I am thankful as I'm standing on the shoulder of giants, but let's not make that such a high climb for anyone else or those coming after us. I know that in the quest for gender equality, that the great work being carried out by the Sherpa Institute, and Andrea's already spoken, are shaping the business guidebooks for each SDG. And it's going to be realised sooner rather than later, and I'm humbled to be taking part in the SDG 5 business guidebook. My gratitude to you all, but in particular to Aparna, Santosh, Mishma, Poonam and everyone else at the Global Council for Promotion of International Trade and all the other sponsors of today. It means so much that we get to do this collectively and together. We can move mountains. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Christina. Let me go to Abir. Abir Shashi, are you there? Let's listen to Abir.
Yes, I'm here. Thank you. So I'm so excited and happy to be again with you, with all of these empowered ladies. When we say women or woman, we say woman is half the society. I honestly say woman is the whole society. It's not only half the society, because she's the mother who is raising generations. I think the most difficult project in the world is to raise a child. So it's already something very empowered and very inspiring. She's the mother, she's the wife, the sister, the daughter, the cousin. So we cannot imagine this world without women. And yes, the planet is under female power. So what we are doing today is really great. And the fact of sharing and talking about this event and encouraging and pushing it, let me say that positive energy is contagious. So we have to speak and to be proud of what we are doing today. And it's not only about gender equality, but it's about the fact that the women power will change the world. It's already changing the world, because this day is very great day, because we are here from all over the world, from the whole planet. We are talking about one target. We are sharing the same values, and it's fantastic. We shouldn't neglect what we are doing, and really, Aparna and Santosh, you are doing a great job, and thank you for giving us the opportunity to be here and to talk with very pride about this project and this Womenomics in actions. So gender equality is, I'm working about the 17 SDGs in my company of consulting. My favorite one is SDG 5, because it's it's linked to my personal life and personal experience. And when I'm talking with it, when I'm dealing with this SDG, I'm dealing with my own experience. So I want all female to become entrepreneur. I want to see all ladies having their own business, shining and empowering. Actually, I'm participating in journey of my National School of Engineering. They invited me here to talk about my success story. And I saw the engineering girls, students, they're just presenting a very nice project. And I see on her the future. We need to transmit our know-how. We need to transmit and to forward all what we love to see in the future generation, in order to make the world the best place to be. So gender equality is, if you need to start about talking in the workplace, in jobs, it means equal opportunities and fairness for employees first, because all girls and women need to start by making an experience and working and having a great jobs in order to become entrepreneur in the future. And we shouldn't treat people unfairly because of reasons protected by discrimination laws. So everyone receives fair treatment. That's what we need to have. And we need to have some transparency as well. Because jobs should be filled based on merit, regardless of the gender, or that doesn't mean we should to push all women to work, but we need something fair. So in companies, we should believe on women empowerment, we should believe on women merits and encourage them to evolve in their career. So I think that was what needs to change is the workplace itself or the business itself, and not telling women to adapt to the male-dominated workplace. So leaders need to start by believing on equality. Equality first in workplace and equality in life. It's not only about just working, but also in the general life in all the countries. So yeah, we need to focus on understanding, awareness, and creating a favorable environment for equality first in the workplace and in life as well. So I encourage all women to believe on themselves. It's very important to believe on themselves and to believe on their power, because they present the power, we present the power. We can do miracles, we can do everything. That means, and all the world know it. Yeah, so we have to continue to raise generation. We have to continue to work hard, because hard work is very good. It's just improving the personality and improving the team spirit as well. And it's great to have all these countries together, united for this journey. So I really thank you for this great job. And I advise, I share Christina, what Christina said. Please share it on social media. I'm just talking about it. I was just talking about this great initiative, yeah, to promote it. And I really wanting to have more and more participants and more women generation joining this event. So thank you so much. And I hope that we can do concrete things together. And I thank you also, Dr. Andrea and Carla, for encouraging us and trusting on us to make a very nice project together. I'm so excited, and I hope that we all can join it and do our best just to have a superpower female leadership. Womenomics in action. It's the best challenge. It's a great challenge. So yeah, let's move on. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Abir. Let's limit our talk to, I know we have a lot to talk about womenomics and gender equality, right? So let's limit to 1 minute. We have a lot of people joining in. Let me invite Fumza, Ms. Fumza Dhyani. Fumza, are you there? Lavina, Ms. Lavina Ramkesoon from South Africa. So Lavina, are you there?
Hi. Yeah.
Yes,
hi, everyone.
What do you?
How's everyone doing? Wow, what a awesome group of thoughts. I think this definitely sort of resonates in terms of the human shift that's happening. You know, especially around acknowledgement for each other. And, you know, equality for me has meant that we still have very much unfinished human issues that remain and beg to be looked at. And those, as everyone has spoken around, include gender, include economics, include socio-economics, and a whole lot more. And, you know, we've gone through the journey of talking about women getting from unpaid work to maternity leave, to childcare support, gender discrimination on the board. Yeah, and these are quite shocking that in this day and age, we still sit with these kind of issues. Just to kind of give some stats that I came across, the US, for example, which I found very surprising, still has no paid maternity leave for women. Yet this is the pillar of a continent that we benchmark ourselves against. So, you know, we have a lot of introspection to do. Within the African continent, we have literally 100 boys that graduate from high school. We only have 55 girls that graduate from high school. So, you know, there's a lot that can be done. There's a lot of potential for where we could be. But I guess it's what our vision is and how clear that vision is. In terms of the power that we each hold, it is very much the power is being your radical self. What does that sort of entail? That means finding your radical self, being your radical self, and owning your radical self. We should not seek to benchmark ourselves against those of men, nor other women. We should not hold ourselves accountable to, unachievable sort of benchmarks to other people. We should look within ourselves and hold those benchmarks there. If we're talking about diversity, which is something that I believe is one of the keys to unlocking, this human shift, diversity for me is a lot around accepting me in the spectrum of normality. And I think equality is consciously being in the spectrum of normality. And for that, we need to speak out, we need to support each other, and we need to show up. So let's carry on these conversations, because there's a lot more work that needs to be done. But I believe it's very exciting. And it's really lovely to be here amongst everyone. So thank you.
Thank you, Levina. Next, we have Yale. Are you there? I had called you before. Yale, I can see your message. Yes, over to you, Yale. Let's listen to you.
Hi, everyone. First of all, thank you for setting up this tremendous event. I'm really happy and excited. This is not the first time that we're connected with the GCPIT. Just a few words about myself. I'm the CEO of Nevelab Technologies. It is an AI-based platform that encouraging diversity and inclusion for big companies. So we're trying somehow to set up, the frameworks and all the necessity tools somehow to connect the dots and to help raise awareness. And I am fortunate also to be the chairwoman of the well-being initiative at the IEEE Association. Same, we're trying to set up the good frameworks to help companies and businesses around the world to better understand and better implement the practices and the best principles to help raise awareness around diversity and inclusion. One point that I would like to mention, I've been in talks with many people. I have a review on LinkedIn, and I got a lot of feedbacks around diversity and inclusion and ethics. And it feels like a tremendous time, as mentioned in the chat, to connect the dots. And I'm really encouraging, all the women around the world and globally to get involved in movements, no matter what movement it's, if it's single mothers or if it's towards elderlies or whatever. Every single step is essential to raise awareness. I see that we have a tremendous decrease in terms of education, in terms of support, in terms of services towards women, and despite that, we all have this power to try to set up the efforts and to raise the bar even higher. And my point here is that we should never give up. I'm not telling that as an action point. I know it's difficult, and especially in these uncertain times, and it's really important to stay ahead of the curve, especially because we have all the tools. We have the phones, we have the connection on LinkedIn. I know that I've provided, maybe 500 hours from my time, since the beginning of the pandemic to help women in terms of development and entrepreneurship. And I'm going to keep doing that, despite that I have a lot to do as everyone else here. So I think it's really important to set up these bridges in between the people, and groups like the GCPIT and on my side also. It's really important to keep the action on until the success. Another point that I would like, and that's going to be my last point. I invite you to send me your profiles. I'm interviewing, on a podcast. This is a new thing, and I encourage whoever can just to speak and to also to take action. If you have other podcasts, and I'm ready, to share also, please feel free. Send me Send me your details. I'll be happy to share your stories and interview you. This is it.
Yes, thank you so much, Yael. It was amazing to you on your podcast. That was like, I really urge everyone. And thank you so much for joining today. Next, we have Fumza. Fumza Dhyani, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Yes, I had called you. I think you had dropped up. Yeah, over to you.
Apologies, I had a slight challenge with the connectivity. It's a good afternoon in South Africa, so greetings to wherever you are in the world. It's such a phenomenal event, and you know, there's never been a different wave like we're experiencing this year with women, where women are not calling for favors. We are saying we're doing this for ourselves. So for me, I actually wrote a letter to my sisters after all the International Women's Day events and celebrations. And my view is that the sound of women has spread like fire during this year, because what COVID-19 did for us is it unified all of us across the world. And for the first time, we got to realize that our problems are not unique to the countries or the cultures, but we share the same plight as women. So what becomes important is that we need to enforce what our position is as women. We are the cornerstone of society, and we need to approach life as such. Life would never be without us as women. So we are important in the economics, we're important in multiple industries. And during the COVID time, we have been at the forefront of the fights in the wards where people were fighting for their lives. The significant portion of the nurses and the doctors were women. So should we not be demanding then that the same importance that is bestowed on men should be bestowed on women, because we are that important? So one thing that we've learned is to recognize that our voices are powerful. And I think most of the speakers were speaking to that. It is then challenging every other woman to know, however small your voice is out there, that your voice, your opinion as a woman is critical to the weaving of this tapestry we're forming. You cannot be left behind as a woman at this point in time. This is a change, a shift. This is the energy that is different. It's the age of Aquarius, where women, the feminine power is coming to the fore. So you cannot be left behind. You cannot leave during this time and your name be written in the future and you never took part, however small that position is. And I think most of the women were alluding to that every woman is a potential advocate for this movement. We need traction in lobbying for more women in corporates, in organizations, in boards, because we need women to be at the center of decision-making. We need women to be at the center of changing things around. We need to personalize the messages that we've all been talking about. It's not about the International Women's Day events or the Womenomics events and the celebrations. It's about how tomorrow, when we're back to the exco tables, what is that change that we start influencing then? What is the conversation going to be like with all this influence? It's not all talk. It's about calling out certain things. When things happen around you as a woman, you call them out. You don't leave them. We cannot be silent anymore. We need to amplify whatever actions we have done as women. We need to look at how our bodies respond to certain things. You remember, we come from an era where we were not calling out things. We were only to be too happy to be around the table and being the only woman and not saying much because we wanted to fit in. This era, we're changing. Whatever we're not comfortable about, how another woman is being treated in our midst, we need to call those things out and be bold and take actions as such. Enough is enough. We need, whether you're a writer, whether you're a singer, we need to amplify the message. If you are a writer, be a radical, write more about women's issues. Let your voice be known in every platform about women and the movement, forward for women. There's a saying that says, some women get erased a little at a time, some all at once. Some reappear. Every woman who appears wrestles with the forces that would have her disappear. She struggles with the forces that would tell her story for her or write a story for her. The genealogy, the rights of men, the rule of law, the ability to tell your own story in words or images is already a victory. It's already a revolt. This is calling out whenever there is an opportunity to say something or to write about women, whether you think you're a writer or not, just give it a shot. Say something, let your voice be heard. Well, we need to continue raising our voices and realize that the fight is not for Pumza only to be around the table. It's for every other woman, a woman in the rural area, a woman in a prison for that matter, a woman who is in every aspect or corner of life. Our fight will never be complete until every woman is free, is liberated, and they live the lives that they need to live. Again, we need to recognize the contribution that is made by men. You know, we need to celebrate the likes of Santoshes for really being catalyst of things that are as big. Santosh is the visionary that has brought all the women globally and has managed to do things that we could not have thought about. All the men, we really need to celebrate. We need to lobby for them to be on our side, and we need to help them to amplify whatever they are doing. Because our fight, one of the speakers spoke about it, it is not our fight alone. We need to lobby our colleagues who are male to be around the table. So the one part that is important as well for women is we are accountable for change. So we can have all these nice sessions and groups and global women across the board. What is Pumza doing to connect with Lori, who is elsewhere in the world, and to make sure that she opens channels for other women in Africa to have impact, to have access to other things, and so on. We need to be strategic in how we also engage in these platforms and make the best use of them. It's not about Pumza being prominent and being part of whatever accolades come with being exposed, but it's also opening the doors and the channels for all other women to be involved. The one lesson I learned about this year of International Women's Celebrations and Womenomics and all of these events is, for the first time, we were told, be yourself, that you are okay being yourself, that you must operate in your area of strength. If you're a woman, you are a nurturer by nature. You are a soft, and that is the leadership that is actually required for this age. We're coming from a pandemic. We're coming from a period of recovery. We're coming from a period where people are going to need a lot more love, support, nurturing. This is the period where life is calling out to women and saying, you have the power after all. You always had it in you inherently to be a leader for this time, for this purpose. Let us not meet this purpose. This is our time. The leadership that nature is requiring is a female leadership. One of the speakers spoke about a number of things that are required for the time. One of the things he mentioned was the climate issues. Who is the best positioned person to consider the impact of what we do to the climate? The inclusion of people that have not been included in the past. It is only a woman who's a natural, who has been a mother, who has been many things, who has seen all seasons, that is called forth for this time. So I do pledge my commitment to whatever moves that we need to do as women to drive the conversations forward. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Pumza. Yes, since the time is running out, I request everybody to limit your talk to 1 minute. So let me invite Kiara Lani. Kiara, are you there? Kiara?
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yes, okay. I was saying greetings from Italy. In just 1 minute, okay? I live in Italy, close to Milan International Airport. And I guess one of the things we miss the most in this challenging time is exactly flying from one place to another, traveling around. So living in the cradle of the Italian civil aviation, I often wonder which plane can fly with just one wing? It's simple, isn't it? None can. So if we want both our economy and society fly high and maybe even higher after the pandemic, we must open both our wings, the male one and the female one. Let's fly together, because this is the only way to make it happen, just like Aparna and Santosh are doing. And this is really the result I'd like to see as the result of our collective energy. And because I'd love to walk the talk, every Friday at 12 GMT on Clubhouse, I'm co-host of a room called Global Networker, together with a man, who is Ismail Hasnedar from Turkey. So if you are on Clubhouse, of course, you are all welcome to join us and to talk about how together we can fly. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Kira. That was awesome. And thank you for your nice words. And let me invite Ida Inganga. Are you there, Ida? Ida?
Yes, I'm here.
Yes, over to you.
Thank you so much, Aparna. Allow me to speak without video, because I'll be inviting one of the ladies, phenomenal ladies from Kenya, Rachel Dinda, who's on the advisory committee for the Africa Gender Task Force, to say the few words. But for me, just well done, ladies. We're so happy that we've managed to do this. And it is our time, as Pumza said, and we really need to be at the forefront of gender change and women's economic emancipation. So thank you so much. I'll put my links. I'll be inviting you to join us as we mentor the younger women to take up the mantle as we move on to higher levels. So thank you so much. And allow me to invite Rachel Dinda from Kenya. She's on the advisory committee for Africa Gender Task Force, to say a few words of inspiration. Well done, ladies, and thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Ida. Yeah, good evening. Good evening. Oh.
This is Rachel Dinda. Thank you very much for this wonderful opportunity. Thank you, Ida, and the organizers of this wonderful meeting. I have been really blessed by the words of wisdom from fellow women and men for their contributions towards empowerment of women and just ensuring that women are included. I work for the government of Kenya, and just listening to the various speakers, I've been really, really inspired. And just to let you know that I've been inspired by the voices of the very many women that I've heard this evening, and I've got tremendous ideas on how we can collectively work on this other side of Africa to ensure that many, many more women are included, and the voices of the women who are vulnerable are really heard and put on the table. I'm overjoyed, really. I'm so excited, and I think all of you, more so the organizers, it's been a wonderful experience. I can't tell you how, and I really want to work with you. Ida, continue to loop me in the programs that are going on, and I'm sure that together we will rise. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Ms. Rachel. Over to Ms. Anindita Sinha. Ms. Anindita, are you there? Ms. Anindita Sinha.
Hi.
Hi.
Hi, Puna. It's wonderful to be part of it, first of all. And what more do I say? I think everyone has everyone has spoken their hearts out, and I think the rooster which we hear is just the clarion call for all of us. That's it. And yes, very truly, as we are talking about empowerment and gender equality, first of all, equality would only come when we think that men are also equal. We should not be gender biased. And why men? Any, irrespective of gender. We should have that open mind to accept it. And Women's Day, of course, is not only on 8th of March, but it should be celebrated every day. Womanhood should be celebrated every day. And 8th March, I think we should just take new resolutions every year, to how this year we have taken to challenge the status quo, choose to challenge. And if it's this big brigade working towards women equality and empowerment, I don't think we really need to think anything more about it. We can do it. We are the powerhouse, we all know. So at times it is dormant, we don't take them out, but we ourselves know what we are capable of. We are confident. We are the best creation of God, I always feel. So wishing everyone all the best in the superb work we are doing. Aparna, please, make a page or something where we, other than the WhatsApp group, where we all can be connected together and sharing knowledge with each other and working hand in hand with each other, whether it is a podcast or a webinar, or helping each other in terms of growing up their own company, startup, or working towards any women cause. Wonderful arrangement, amazing session. Aparna, kudos to you and Santosh ji and everyone. Love you all. Mwah.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for all the energy, and Adita. Surely we'll make a page and we'll connect. And Ayanti, are you there? Ms. Ayanti Guru Singh?
Yeah, I'm also here.
Yes, so with you. Yes, thank you.
Yeah, just to say it was so nice to be part among all these beautiful women. And when the pledge we expressed, it encourages all of us. And the rooster, I think, crowing more than three times kind of endorsed every good thing. And I'm so happy, and thanks to you, Aparna, and to Santosh for taking trouble to organize and to connect all of us. And you got our support all the way from Sri Lanka, and thank you so much. I loved you to be part of everyone. Thanks.
Thank you, Ayanti. Thank you. And we have Uma Rao with us. Ms. Uma Rao.
Hi, everyone.
Hi.
So this is Uma. I'm from the southern state of India, Chennai. A city called Chennai, Tamil Nadu. Very happy to be with everyone. Santosh, Aparna, awesome job, guys. I think you've been wonderful. I've been hearing some very powerful views from people, and I've seen the stellar work of getting all of us together. On the topic quickly, since there is constraint of time, I want to stick to this to say that to me, gender equality doesn't mean, it's actually equity. It's not really about equality here. It's about equity. I fully reckon and understand that we are different in terms of gender, right? And so we shouldn't try to pull everything together and say it's the same canvas in which we're painting. But I think it's a matter of equity and being treated in the right way, being allowed, being given the opportunity to make those choices which are equal, which actually helps the way we work in an organization, in society, or everywhere. We can't create a field which is uneven and then ask people to compete there. So for me, it's about equity for the pure reason that if we decide to play it fair, then set the ground rules which are fair. If they're not fair, we will always have a set of people who will always feel disadvantaged. And the other point which I want to say is, we all look for help elsewhere. But I think as a community of women, we need to get together and help each other much more than we have been doing today. If one of us makes it, how many more are we going to pull up and bring them up in terms of their confidence, capabilities, competencies, or whatever you may want to consider, which is going to give us the level playing field. I think we all have a very big responsibility. And number three, I think it was Fumza who said that men have to play a very important role. And we are talking these days about men allyship and men, who have to be our buddies in this. And they have to play a really important role in terms of bringing sensitivity into the workplace and having people understand the economic reasons for having women, and not just because it's a nice thing to do. So gender equality to me is a fundamental human right. And it's not just that, it's a necessary foundation for a peaceful, prosperous, and sustainable world. And if it's a shame if we don't do this and we don't create a world that is sustainable. It has nothing to do with the gender. It has to be full of opportunities, freedom, and importance to everybody. So I feel that, it's about time for us to get our forces together to move this. Women make a difference. Men, please come forward and make a big difference. You can do it. And finally, equality is about equity for me. So thank you so much. And I love meeting all of you lovely people. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Uma. Let me call Ms. Philomena Tucci. Sorry, I hadn't seen her message. She has to leave. Philomena, are you there?
Hi, thank you very much.
Really
thank
sorry.
You, the director, thank you to you all for the organization. Thank you, Aparna. Thank you, Womenomics. This is a great opportunity for all women in all countries of the world. This is a network of peace. This is a network of a new challenge. What's the challenge? We have to work together against crisis. Now we are waiting for a new phase, a new world after COVID. And this world will be trained by women. And this global network is a great for you, dear my friend, but for all our countries, because the market is changed, completely changed. And now, we want to fight the crisis, we have to work together. If we want to restart and working for the growth of our companies, we have to understand that the world is changed and the market is a global market. And for this reason, Italy have to collaborate. Italy have to help you. And we have to help Italy. Only working together, only connecting and matching our experience, we could change this terrible moment and we could create new jobs, new opportunity, and help companies. Every day working in our cities, we see a lot of entrepreneurs in crisis, and there is only a way to fight it. Searching a new market around the world. I can find new client in India. I can also find a new client in America. I can also find new market in all your country. And you too, you can enter in Italy. And we, women, will be the bridge of this new era. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, my friend.
Thank you, Philomena. Sorry for the delay in calling you. And let me invite Sangeeta Sumesh. I think she also has to join another session. Sangeeta, are you there?
Yes, hi.
Yes, I can hear you, Sangeeta. Yes, over to you.
Yes. So it's a great theme, great session. I'm so delighted to be here, and I think it's something that's much needed in today's times. I think women are doing a phenomenal job, and we need to get recognized, definitely. But I think more than that, getting the kind of recognition is what is really a lot more meaningful. And we are no competition to men, but I think it's just that we need to be, as individuals, recognized for whatever we are contributing, whatever we bring in, the different perspectives that we can bring in and the kind of value that we add to any business. I think that is the key differentiator, because I always believe men are wired in a particular manner and women are wired differently. That's why they say men are from Mars and women are from Venus. So to get different perspectives, I think that's the important message that a woman brings along. And I think that message everybody has to, acknowledge. Now, even if you look at children, boys are wired in a particular manner and girls are wired in another way. So, it's that's how we are made, that's how we are created. So women need to be in there for every little aspect, and that's when I think the balance and the diversity will come in. So I think the world needs to acknowledge that and see what other things that we bring in. We need to leverage on our strengths so that the world is a much better place for us to live in. So with that, thank you so much. Great show again, the team. Very well done. And I look forward to meeting all of you Sunday soon. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you, Sangeeta. And next, let me call Shifali. Shifali also has to go for another meeting. Shifali, are you there?
Hi, how are you?
Yes, Shifali. Yeah, over to you.
Thank you so much for this opportunity and creating this forum. I think equality means our ability to have options, the option to do what we choose and not necessarily be standing by and with the social norms or expectations of what we were told to do. This forum is going to create a huge kind of wave of change. We can see global women across the globe, Africa, America, Europe, and now we need to move this from talk to action. If we can make equality the same as equity, as many of us have mentioned, it'll create an empowered society, a cultural change that allows everybody to be the best version of themselves and move ahead. Thank you so much again. And I look forward to creating the next stages of actionable movement. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Shifali. Next, we have Bit Havel. Bit, are you there?
I am here. Thank you
yes,
very
over
much.
to you.
Yes. Greetings, everyone. I'm full of gratitude to be here with you today among such inspiring global leaders. Today, I'm going to join with you and answer the rise to the challenge, answer the call to action. I want to share with you a recent blog I found in my research for the Sherpa Institute on SDG 8. The blog is from the World Bank Group. It's World Bank Blogs. And there's a statement in there. If women and men participated equally as entrepreneurs, as much as 5 trillion could be added to the global economy. So think about that number and let it sink in a little bit. I want to share with you that life's not a competition. Referral's the greatest compliment. So as women, sometimes we get in our own way. One of the things we can do is light somebody else's candle. When we light another person's candle, we don't diminish our own light, we just make more for everybody. So let's look to one another for solutions. Let's be somebody's solution. When we raise up and empower women, we raise up individuals, families, communities, and nations. Men, I want to challenge you to look out for us just like you would your sisters. You can make a significant impact. Other men look to you, Santosh, for example, or Yangbodu, forgive me if I said your name wrong, but they look to you as leaders and examples. So all the other men taking part or supporting here, thank you for all that you do for raising up and empowering women. Ladies, we're all sisters. Doesn't matter, our race, our color, our ethnicity, our nationality, our culture, all of those differences make us beautiful, and we need to be who we are. Bring all of that to the table. And when we bring those things, our differences, those are actually our strengths. That's what makes us so strong and so powerful. So we're stronger together. Remember, gender equality is a fundamental right. We need to hashtag that. We need to put it on social media, and we need the men in our businesses, the men in our families to share that as well. It's a culture, it's a mindset. It's a change that we all have to take part in making. One other thing I want to leave you with is when you make it, whatever that means to you, reach back and bring somebody with you, because we can make a difference. The change that we're making today, that's our future tomorrow. It's the future for our children, our grandchildren, and everybody coming after us. So I want to thank you again, Aparna, Santosh, and GCPIT for all that you do to raise up and empower women. And thank you for letting me be a part of this forum today. I appreciate each and every one of you. And if there's anything I can do for anyone, please don't hesitate to reach out. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Beth. Now let me invite Carla Gibson. Ms. Carla Gibson, are you there?
I do not see her.
She is not there. Okay. Ms. Dhanya Menon. Dhanya, are you there?
There's Carla Gibson.
Yes, she's there.
Unmute yourself, Carla.
Thank you, Carla. Sorry. It's a delight to be here today and to just get inspired by so many of you. I love the messages, and I just want to, I guess, leave a message with you. I'm taking away the gender part of it, in that we are all of the divine. And I think that we just need to let the divine fill us out and spread with whatever we do. And I know that that this has been a big deal. Santosh, thank you so much, and Aparna for doing this. And I think gender equality is very important because we don't see that we are all people, that we all have these wonderful traits in us that we can grow together and share the load. And I think that's what we're doing. We're sharing the load with each other. And my biggest passion is education, and having that being instilled in everybody, no matter what gender, and supporting each other is so very important. And I wanted to show you a picture, if you can see it. You see the picture of these two people. This is my grandfather and my grandmother. And both of them were such hard workers. But if you can see, my grandmother was a taskmaster, and my grandfather was the lover and the healer. And so it doesn't matter what gender you are, everybody has strengths. And we just need to appreciate that and keep working toward understanding that in other people. And so that's what I have to say for today. Thanks so much for your time.
Thank you so much, Carla. Next, we have Dr. Lopa.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Aparna, Mr. Santoshi, and GCPIT for this great initiative. And it was amazing listening to all of you here. So being in the field of healthcare, and running Breast Cancer Hub, I experienced that gender parity gap exists in all socioeconomic environment, irrespective of education and income. And this inequality doesn't even spare basic needs and acceptance about women's health, such as menstrual hygiene, breast and cervical care. And this leads to ignorance, embarrassment, taboo, leading to late detection and advanced stages of cancer diagnosis causing death. So I'm taking a little bit different perspective here with the inequality standpoint. So the society needs to come out of the stigma, accept, embrace, and treat our daughters, sisters, mothers equally. Talk about the health issues as a family, even the man needs to come forward by breaking the taboo. And why can't we discuss all these issues and be careful, and be mindful of the potential health risk? Because that's what I feel is so important at this time point, that let's strive together as a community against the inequality existing from healthcare standpoint and help women speak up with pride and dignity. And I'm so humbled to be here, and this would be my request from the inequality standpoint. Thank you so much for the opportunity.
Thank you, Dr. Lopa. Now let me call Ms. Lori McNeil. Ms. Lori, are you there? Ms. Lori McNeil? Miss Geeta Goti. Miss Geeta, you're on mute.
Yeah, hi everyone. Good evening and good morning. So very happy to be on this session. Gender equality, fundamental right. Very true. Often we forget that it's very important to speak about these, in the forums such as this. What comes to my mind on gender equality is the kind of inequality we see in healthcare, security and safety, as well as in the equity. Somebody pointed out equality and equity. Equity is what we need to look at. So empowerment is only when there is economics attached to it. So in India, at least I feel a few of my colleagues here are talking about it from the Indian perspective. I think it has a lot to do with that accessibility, and also at failing in and as SDGs. There's so much doing that, and even if each one of us pick up one of those, I'm sure that we would bring a lot to the table. So much to say in this few minutes, but I would leave a thought with you that if we are looking at equality, probably we should first talk about the mindset for men and women, because it's not just the men who are having an issue with the equality, but even women. So I think we need to bring in that thought process in our dialogue. And yes, there has to be a dialogue. It can't be one-sided. So let's work on it. And I'm so happy to catch up with you all today. Thank you, Aparna, and thank you, Santosh.
Thank you so much, Ms. Geeta. Do you have the McNeil? Ms. Lori, are you there? Ms. Rama N.S. Rama ma'am, are you there?
Yes, I'm there.
So thank you so much.
Hello. Actually, I don't want to take too much time. I think thank you so much, Aparna and Santosh, for organizing this. Actually, I'm really happy that when we started our careers, we started all alone. Now we have so many people to work with together. I think we have a bigger platform, and we should become more action oriented and make teamwork as a entity. And I'm sure, while we struggled and came to this level, or the takeoff point for the current women, particularly younger women, is much, much better. I think I am very sure, I'm very confident that we will reach greater heights. Wish you all the best. I think I'm really excited to be part of this group. Any help, any support, anytime, I'm there for you, Aparna. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Rama ma'am. Thank you for joining in. Ms. Lori McNeil, are you there?
Hi, everyone. Yes, I am here.
Thank
Very
you.
excited about today for gender equality and the importance of this. The thing that I love most about this group is that we are a group of women from all over the world. And the thing about this is even though one or two of us, or hopefully more than that, have actually experienced gender equality within our own roles, within our own lives, we cannot stop this fight until every single person, man or woman, has made this their priority, and that every woman and man has experienced gender equality throughout the globe. And that's why even the shirt that I'm wearing today says unstoppable, because when we achieve that, we will truly be unstoppable. So therefore, it's going to require all of us to come together and help elevate each other, because when we do, we will all rise. And so therefore, I love the words from the beloved Oprah when she says, without struggle, there is no strength. And because there has been much struggle, that means that we should be very, very strong in all that we do. And so let's take that strength, let's inspire one another, let's elevate one another, and then let's achieve a gender equality for everyone all over the world. And let's not stop until that is achieved. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ms. Lori. Thank you. Next, let me call Ms. Ritu Singh. Ms. Ritu, are you there? Ritu, are you there? Ms. Namthanda Somupande, are you there? I can see you. Namthanda, so are you there? You're on mute. Ms. Gillian Godsell, are you there? Yes. Namthanda, so is here. Over to you.
Hi, Apana. Our pledge, we are into supporting women and from all diverse women. That means we shouldn't be looking whether women are from the rural areas or from the so-called townships in South Africa. We support them in technology, and also we support them to start businesses. So for us, it is about encompassing the people and make sure that they are skilled enough to do what they need to do. Because even if we talk about empowerment, we want people who are capable, who have the skill. So I pledge from my side to make sure that people are able to do what is required to be done and to prosper, especially women doing the best and teaching what they learn from, and teaching their kids what they're learning. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Next, let us have Zine. Zine Kukwana, are you there? Ms. Zine, can you hear me? Ms. Eja Salmi, are you there? Ms. Andrea Zapka, are you there? Andrea?
Hi, everyone.
Yes,
Hello.
hi.
Nice to meet you all. It's really a happy evening with you all. It's almost 11 o'clock here in Malaysia. So it's nice to share this moment with you. And thank you very much, Santoshi and Aparna. I would like to bring the example of dancing into the picture. You know, I'm a dancer since I was a kid, and equality for me is a harmonious dance. If you think about it from this way, you will see that men and women are both part of it, and they are both independent, but they are both stronger together. So we all need all parties in this equity, and we need everyone to give their treats and their little gems hidden inside, so that together we can do something better, bigger, stronger, and more powerful, and we can have a better impact. So I would like to reach that state when people forget about the gender and any labels before empowerment, before equity, before equality, and they will just say that let's be human and let's reach the flow. If you know, Csikszentmihalyi is a Hungarian psychologist, and he was saying that happiness is only reachable when you forget about all the possessions and all the power, and the only thing that you have to do is to be in now and to make the most of it and be so connected with today and with what you do, that moment makes you happy. And then in that moment, when you are so connected and in the flow, then everything will come to you, and you will grow together with everyone around you. So I wish you the flow, I wish you equity, and I wish you a harmonious dance with everyone around. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Andrea. I know it is very, very late there, still waiting and joining us today. So let's have the video which shows what are we going to do next. Santosh, can we play the video? Yes, that was awesome. You saw that we are looking for ambassadors for women in technology, women in STEM, women in sports, women for space for women, women in business, right? I hope you all have noted down, and we are looking for your applications as global ambassadors and ambassadors in all these fields. So now let's go to our next speakers. We have a list of long list of speakers, I think.
Aparna, can I just intrude here and just request, can you send in that list of ambassadors?
Sure. That will be shared. That will be shared. Santosh will be sharing in LinkedIn and everywhere, I'm sure. Okay, that is awesome. It was a surprise for me also. I also hadn't seen this. It's amazing. Thank you, Santosh. So let's go to the next speaker, Ms. Anju Bajaj. We have our national chairman for MSME growth in India. Anju ma'am, are you there?
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Anju ma'am, she's joining us from Dubai.
Yes. Am I audible?
Yes, Anju ma'am, you can go on. Yes.
Yeah, a very inspiring and very informative session. And I was listening to everybody. I mean, it's really great. So, the launch of Womenomics, the concept originally started by the PM Abe from Japan, who announced it as one of the top priorities of his administration, recognizing the women, the female participants in the economy. So that was the idea, that women's economic advancements and, will improve the economy as whole. So lots have been said by other speakers and all. I won't take much time upon that. Although there has been substantial progress towards gender equality, what we've been talking about. Just a second. Yeah, the great disparities still persist, across the globe. And the women face widespread gender gaps still in the divisions of household responsibilities, maybe the economic resources, limited access to educational opportunities, and legal and political barriers and political powers too. So let us be the change, and this will start from our CIMSME and GCPIT family globally. And behind every successful woman is a tribe of other successful women, which everybody has been talking about, who have her work. So I believe the feminism isn't about making women stronger. Women are already strong. So it's about changing the way the world perceives their strength. So as I had already mentioned, don't be a woman that needs a man, but be a woman a man needs. So don't dream for success, work for it. Wish you all the best, and thank you for giving me an opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Anju ma'am. Now I'm calling in the order of participants, okay? So now let me call Ms. Anuradha Jain. Anuradha Jain, are you there?
Yeah, hi, I'm there. My network is not so good, so I'll be keeping my camera off. Pardon me for that. Well, for me, equality is all about the choices that we make. We land up using the word, we need to be given opportunity, we need to be allowed, we need to be provided. And I personally feel there is no one on this planet or earth who can give or provide until we are 18, that is our parents. Besides that, it has to be our choices. And sometimes when we give in to the hardships that we face, we land up saying they need to give us the opportunity. It actually has to be the choices and not to give up. So we have to harden ourselves. We have to become aggressive, go-getters. Then nobody will give us opportunity. It will be there and we grab it. So that's my take on equality. And I have led my life with that persuasion and that persistence. 25 years ago, I had started a software company in a very narrow-minded community of Jains. And I have done about 10 more startups till then. So I can personally say out of my experience that every battle, every startup, every organization has been a learning. But at the same point of time, I never used the words, I need to be given. I've always used the words, I chose, I got, I took, I won. So I think we have to rephrase our achievements, and automatically the perception of the opposite gender will change towards us. That's my take. Thank you very much, Aparna.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I think we left out somebody. I know Wendy Alexander is here. She's not well, she has told me. But Wendy, would you like to speak without switching your camera on? Wendy, are you there? Can you hear me? I think she's not well. Okay, so now let me call Ashwin. Ashwin, are you there? Andrea is saying good night. Good night, Andrea. I think it's very, very late there. Ashwin, are you there? Would you like to speak? Dr. Neelima? Ms. Ganga?
So
Dr.
hi
Neelima,
everyone.
yes.
This is Dr. Neelima. So we always fight for equality and equality. Like I personally feel that we are superior to men. See, in every aspect, only the thing is that the determination and courage is to be with us, and when the power of will is there, the thing is there. We spell like women. In the women word itself, it is showing WOMEN. To get wow, there we need to have the W factor, that is the will factor and determination factor, so that there are any heights can be achieved. And if anything is possible for someone, everyone can do it. There's not a gender bias is not there in this, and we feel that the inner factor should come within us. We should support ourselves. Women should support the other selves to achieve the greater heights. I personally feel so.
Thank you, Dr. Neelima. Yeah. Okay, Ms. Ganga? Ganga Raj.
Hi, everyone. And my God, Santosh and Aparna, see what you have done. Bringing all the power to one stage. I'm lost for words. But thank you so much for this opportunity to be among people whose voice is the same. We are all talking the same language. I was very fortunate to be a part of ICG International Conference on Gender Equality that happened in February in Kerala. And all the sessions, we realized that empowerment is the key of, because that is what makes them informed about the right and ask for it when it is deprived. Many a times, I work with a lot of women who come from very low strata of the society or marginalized society also, and we realize that they don't even know what are their rights, or they're supposed to be asking for it. So definitely empowerment is one of the key factors that we should be talking about. But at the same time, let me tell you, women empowerment is not enough. We need men. I would have been very happy to see more men on this stage, because men need to understand what women empowerment can bring in. Together, what can be done, so irrespective of the gender. When I say gender equality, it's irrespective of gender. Every individual, irrespective of the gender, is a global citizen, right? Is a citizen of this world. And no one should be deprived of their full potential to learn, earn, and grow. And let's not forget, societies that believe in gender equality are always a safer and healthier place to live in. Aparna, I think I can go on and on, but I know the time limit. And wonderful opportunity. Thank you so much. And loved each one of your thoughts and voices. And Santosh and Aparna, hoping to see a session like this with men. That would be great, with all of us around, and open it to other gender, and let's have a real gender equality platform, where we come and talk the same language. Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Ganga. I saw Nomsa entering. Nomsa Teleko, are you there? Now let me call Ivy Nijeri. I hope I pronounced the name right. Ivy, are you there?
Yes, I am here.
Yes,
Well,
over to you. Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, in my time it's 6:10, so I'll say good evening to you all. I am pleasured to be here, currently in Kenya, and I have to acknowledge the wise words that are being shared here. It's very encouraging and very motivating. And I thank you all so much for sharing your kind words and your wise words. Thank you.
Thank you so much. We have Jayashree here, Dr. Jayashree. Is it Dr. Jayashree? I can see just an email ID there. Jayashree, are you there? Mr. Job Thomas? Mr. Job Thomas, are you there? Kabuki. I can see Kabuki. Are you there? Mr. T, who is that? I can see one Mr. T there. Ms. Namita Barik.
Yeah, good evening, everyone. Sorry, I cannot switch on my camera. So it is a great evening, wonderful evening to listen to everyone, and it's so empowering and powerful. Being a girl child, I have faced this from early age, and this become I have always rejected the idea of being biased, and that is just my entire life I face this. So this is very much needed, and I am very committed to do this, that I would inject that values in my daughter, that she doesn't need to be biased, but she should always choose what she wants. So the day I would be leaving this earth, my vision is to leave this earth a little better place to live for everyone. Thank you so much for giving this opportunity.
Thank you, Namita. We have Jayashree here. Is this Jayashree? You are on mute.
Are you asking me to speak?
Yes.
Okay. Hi, Aparna. I don't even, hi, I got this invite. I got it and I'm here. I'm so happy to meet so many powerful women, because I've told boldly to people, I teach, I run a coaching institute. I tell people that no matter if men don't study, but you women have to study. Marriage is never going to, although I'm happily married, I say marriage isn't important for you. What's important is that you're economically independent. You don't become dependent on anyone. And I'm so happy. I keep inspiring young girls. And many of them say, ma'am, we want to be like you, which is a great thing. Not so great, maybe, but then, I'm really happy to be here to meet such wonderful, amazing people. I would just like to know, how can I support? How can I help? How can I give value? So please feel free to include me in any role that you can. Thank you so much.
Sure. Thank you so much, Jayashree. Now, Namsa, are you there? Can you hear me? Namsa's message that her phone fell in water.
Hi, I'm here. Thank you.
Yes, yes.
This is an absolutely amazing platform for women, and what I believe in is that the empowerment of women needs to start at their home front. How we treat girls and how we embrace boys. It needs to really start from there. A girl child needs to have a voice in a family setup, because if a girl child has a voice in a family setup, she will be confident enough to have a voice, in a corporate platform or in a society. So for me, I think that is very important, and it's really good to see a lot of women who are leading and are being a great example to the young girls of the world. So that's really what I wanted to say is that let us started in a family setup, and let's get men and fathers to be involved, because I mean, fathers are the ones that are giving the women the strength and the leadership skills, and mothers need to play a role that is not hindering the thinking of a girl child. Marriage is well and good, but my father told me that if you get to marry, you need to ensure that you are a helping partner to your husband. You're not that just dependent on them. Women are builders, and for us to build, we need to be empowered, and we need to have a voice in all the spaces that we occupy. That is my input. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Numsa. We have Ritu Singh here. Ritu, are you there?
Yes.
Yes.
I'm sorry I had to drop off in between. Aparna, thanks for calling me right now. I have been hearing great motivational stuff from all the leaders here, and I honestly don't want to call them women leaders. I would just call them leaders, because the kind of stuff that I'm hearing, it's all motivating, and it just makes me feel that, you know, if every one of us touches the life of any one woman in the world, I think we can make a difference. And after this meeting, definitely I'm going to take that up as a pledge, that I am going to make a difference to at least one more person besides whoever I am in touch with. So thank you so much, all the ladies here. Thank you so much for inspiring me. And thank you so much for being an inspiration in your own way. And I'll keep picking up on all the good stuff that everybody's doing here. Do let me know if I can add any value anywhere else as well. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. That was awesome. Really, we need your support. We need everybody's support. Together we can make a difference. That's what I believe. Let me call Nikita. Nikita Bose. Are you?
Very good evening.
Yes.
I'm audible?
Yes.
Hi, everybody. Wow. What a day. What a powerful session. And as I always say, and I will keep on saying, India is proud to have a son like Mr. Santosh Ganesh, who has taken so many women leaders across the world. And now today in this single platform, we are speaking about gender inequality. And this is such a beautiful historical day. I have been facing this gender disparity a lot of times. We are three sisters, and whenever people speak, okay, koi bhai nahi hai, you don't have a brother, oh, this all comes out, and you know, this is something, it just shakes me from inside, that what is wrong, any tragedy happened, what happened? So now we are speaking about gender inequality. Nobody it is no matter of comparison, I believe. Everybody is blessed with their own capabilities, and hearing it all across the world today, I am so thrilled that this problem exists everywhere, and everybody is finding ways to come out with, and we are all together in this. I believe we are growing. Thank you, Santosh ji, for this. Thank you.
Thank you, Nikita. Thank you. Next we have Pravina. Ms. Pravina, are you there? Pravina? Ms. Ranju Pillai? Ms. Kusum Kanwar, are you there? Kusumji, are you there?
Yes, I'm here, Aparna. Good evening, and thank you so much. This is so powerful and so inspiring. Thank you for giving me this opportunity to be speaking here. And just my two bits. Like I always say that. Uh, we are celebrating women as infinite, as universal, as boundless, inclusive, and of course global here on Womenomics. And I just like to quote that, let's not be intimidated by what we don't know, and that can be our greatest strength, and ensure that we do things differently from everyone else, as it's already been spoken. And I come from the education field, and this is so that we give a lot of inspiration to the teachers, because they have just they are the ones who have gone out at this point in time and not stopped learning. They didn't pause learning, and they are still continuing with that. Thank you so much, and thank you, Santosh, Ganesh, and Aparna, of course, and I can see Mishma here, and also Anju ma'am. So it is here where every woman's success is an inspiration to another. We are stronger when we are cheering each other on, and we will do this on every platform. And so here, when they say that when there is one woman, there's magic that's created. So let's create that magic with so many women here. And thank you so much.
Thank you, Kusumji. We have Sonia Rajesh.
Good evening to all. Thank you, Aparna and Santoshji and all my dear friends. It's really a wow moment to be here with so many power-packed, inspirational talks. Yes, and I do feel that by educating women from the grassroots, we can surely make the difference and really make this world a better place to live in for both men and women. Thank you once again, and I'm sure we'll be able to do that magic.
Thank you, Sonia. I hope I haven't left anyone. Anyone is there left to speak?
Mishma.
No, Mishma is closing.
Sarita
Anybody
Nair.
else is there? Sarita Nair is there? Sarita, are you there? I can't see her name in the list. So if anybody is there to speak, please come forward and speak. I hope I haven't left anybody. So I would like to invite our global vice chairperson, Ms. Rita Kakati Shah. She would like to speak a few words before closing. Rita, are you there?
Yep, I'm here. Hi, everyone. What
Hi.
an electrifying event this has been. I just wanted to say very, very quickly that we've all talked about now, how can we convert these incredible words of ours, these words of wisdom into action? All of us on this call, if each of us goes after today and pledges to speak to one person, we've doubled our impact. If we find 2 people in our immediate circle to speak to, we have tripled our impact. I want everybody on this call to pledge to speak to 2 people, 1 woman, 1 man. It could be a girl, it could be a boy, but you speak to both. This is about gender equality. The woman, as an example, you might want to, if you are a senior leader, if you are somebody in an influential position, you might want to extend your hand down. You might want to champion that person. If you take that responsibility, that is something that you have doubled your impact. The second person, that is a boy, that is a man, you might want to have a conversation with them. We are talking about educating everybody. What is that conversation we're going to have? It's somebody from an older generation. If it's somebody from a different generation, from the younger generation, what is that going to be? Let us all pledge to take that action after today. That way, we have tripled our impact. All we're doing is speaking to 2 people each, and that is it. So I just wanted to say that, and thank you for this electrifying forum. Incredible job, everybody. Kudos, big applause to everybody.
Thank you so much, Rita. I think that was awesome. That is, that's what we have to do as closing. And Poonam has already messaged that she is talking to her son on the way back. Thank you so much, Rita. And now I think it's time to close. Let us invite Ms. Carla Holder from Sherpa Institute to give her closing remarks. Over to you.
Thank you to the Confederation of Indian Micro, Small, and Medium Enterprises, the Global Council for Cluster Excellence in Research, and the Global Council for the Promotion of International Trade for the opportunity to speak at this Womenomics in Action event. Women's History Month is a good time to recognize these women making history today. You have heard from women around the world, and some men too. We are so appreciative of Santoshji and all the men who support the economic growth and equality of women. I have met so many wonderful people through the Womenomics series, and am happy to be part of today's celebration. I am the research director at Sherpa Institute, a registered charity educational organization. We are researching and writing the corporate guidebooks for the UN Sustainable Development Goals, the SDGs. These goals are 17 in number, starting with the easy things, like the elimination of poverty and hunger. There are targets under each goal, 169 total. As an example, target 5.1 is end all forms of discrimination against all women and girls everywhere. And target 5.2 is eliminate all forms of violence against all women and girls in the public and private spheres, including trafficking and sexual and other types of exploitation. The guidebook for each goal is put together by a team of researchers and writers. Why should you care about these goals? They were determined by a global survey of millions of people. They make a difference in billions of lives around the world. Why wouldn't you care? These goals are about saving the world. Goal 5 is gender equality, which is very supportive of Womenomics. Goal 8 is decent work and economic growth. It is women's entrepreneurial spirit and tenacity which will drive growth in the micro, small, and medium enterprises and achieve the growth to bring the poorer countries and communities into the 21st century. There is even a specific target for this, target 8.3, promote development-oriented policies that support productive activities, decent job creation, entrepreneurship, creativity, and innovation, and encourage the formalization and growth of micro, small, and medium-sized enterprises, including through access to financial services. GCPIT and IMSME are tackling this goal. It is truly Womenomics in action. Goal 4 is education. When a girl or woman is educated, she is able to work more productively. She is able to help her family more. She knows what is nutritious, and her whole family, children included, are healthier. And health is goal 3. Goal 8 team, which Beth Howell is a part of, will publish its corporate guidebook this fall. We are onboarding the Goal 5 gender equality team right now to join the teams for Goal 3 health and Goal 4 education to work together. So why would a business care about these goals? Isn't this something for the United Nations, countries, and NGOs? Businesses that care about sustainability are more resilient and flexible in dealing with shocks like the pandemic and its slowdown of commerce. Firms that are short-sighted and maximize their profit to the detriment of their staff and community find that their long-term success is compromised. Half of the world are women, and more than that, 70 to 80% of consumer sales are driven by women. It is in the corporation's best interest to treat us well, and who best to know how to design a product for women, but a woman, or sell to a woman, or anything else. The Pipeline, a London-based diversity advisor, found in their Women Count 2020 report that companies with no women on their executive committees have a net profit of just 1.5%. But those with more than a third women at that level generate 15.2% net profit. Businesses are part of the community, recruiting workers, selling to customers, and finding suppliers. When the community is well and developing, all the businesses have an opportunity to grow. Staff is more loyal when the firm is concerned about their well-being. Companies that do well by doing good are the ones that endure. There are about 300 million businesses in the world. There are only 169 targets under the 17 goals. Think what progress we could make when each goal would have 1 million businesses supporting it and working on it. Think of the progress on SDG 5, gender equality. We each can do our part, even the smallest of micro businesses. Thank you, and I turn it back to you, Aparna.
Thank you so much, Carla. Thank you. I know it's morning there, right? Early morning, yeah. Thank you so much for joining in. That was awesome. What an amazing session. I really loved listening to everybody. And let us now listen to our one and only Miss Mishma, Dr. Mishma Stanislaus. She's a Global Communications Officer. Mishma, over to you for your closing remarks.
Thank you so much, Parnaji. It's good to be on this side. For once, I'm wearing the hat of a speaker instead of being the host or the anchor. So it's great to be here. Gender equality, a term we've been hearing for quite some time now. And in 2015, like Ms. Carla touched upon, 193 member countries of the United Nations came together to commit to the 17 SDGs, and especially Goal 5 focused on gender equality and set an ambitious target of achieving gender equality and empowering women and girls everywhere by 2030. And 5 years later, larger gender gaps still remain across the world. And the early evidence suggests that COVID-19 has only added a regressive effect on gender equality. The progress toward gender equality has been quite marginal since 2015, which has been measured across various indicators, such as labor force participation rate, professional and technical jobs, leadership positions, formal employment, and unpaid care work. And in case of equality in the society, it is measured through unmet need for family planning, maternal mortality, education level, financial inclusion, digital inclusion, legal protection, political representation, and so on and so forth. But it is a pity to know that only 10 countries across the world are close to achieving the gender equality across these indicators. And some countries which claim to have achieved gender equality in formal employment, but between 2000 and 2018, women have accounted for 2/3 of the 45 million jobs created in 22 OECD countries. But many of these jobs are just part-time or independent work that are less secure and offered lower pay and fewer benefits. So that is still far behind from being equal. And as someone said, equality is not just the right thing to do, it is smart economics. How can an economy achieve full potential if it ignores or sidelines or fails to invest in half of its population? And this is the very basis of Womenomics. But to achieve equality, and as one of our members also agreed, to achieve equality, to achieve Womenomics, and for an inclusive society, the mindset needs to change, and not just of women, but of men, girls, and boys. And we need the utmost support of all our counterparts, the men out there, without whom we cannot achieve this goal. And one thing needs to be ingrained into us, that gender equality is not going to relegate the men, but it's going to create a society where everyone can thrive and we're happy in it together. And like Ms. Uma said earlier, through gender equality, all we're asking for is a level playing field, where we're given equal opportunities and given a chance to live our dreams too. So with that, I would like to conclude by quoting the Baha'i teaching. The world of humanity is possessed of two wings. So as long as these two wings are not equivalent in strength, the bird will not fly. Until womankind reaches the strength of that of a man, until she enjoys the same arena of activity, extraordinary attainment for humanity will not be realized. Humanity cannot wing its way to heights of real attainment. When the two wings become equivalent in strength, enjoying the same prerogatives, the flight of mankind will be exceedingly lofty and extraordinary. Thank you so much for your time, and thank you for joining us. Over to
Thank
you.
you. Thank you so much, Mishma. That was amazing. What an amazing day. Wow. I think we all have learned a lot. Just a moment. Yes, I think we have listened to a lot of global leaders. We have learned a lot, and we have changed a lot today. Let's all come together again for the Weekends for Change. Let's all volunteer to be ambassadors and global ambassadors to create the change. And thank you so much to all our global leaders for joining us today and sharing your thoughts about gender equality and Womenomics. And I think those who think that they are not global leaders, I think you are on your way. So I'm not mentioning separately, I'm just saying thank you so much to all our global leaders. If you are not one today, you will be soon. And I thank Mr. Santosh Ganesh for giving us this platform for creating a change in the world. As Mother Teresa said, we all may not be able to do great things, but we can do great things with small things with great love. I think that's it. Let's all come together again during our weekends. Let us spare time for creating this change. And this is your host, Aparna G. Kumar, signing off. Have a great weekend and have a great Easter. Thank you so much. And I'm leaving tomorrow. So I'll be joining next time from Oman. So I need all your
Best of luck.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
It was awesome. It was awesome today.
All the best, Aparna.
Thank you so much, Lopa. Who are coming to Dubai, let's meet up there. So,
Yeah,
thank you.
so good. Great meeting everyone. Thank you so much.
Thank you, one and all. Thank you so much, Aparna.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you
Good
so
night.
much. Thank you. It was lovely being with you all.
Thank you all.
Everybody.
Bye. Thank you, Mr. Santosh. Thank you, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.